Grace and welcome back to my channel. In today's vlog, we're going to talk about one of the American native tribes. So if you want to know what specific tribe I've been talking about, just keep on watching. There are lots of American native tribes out there, but I only choose one to explain further. So the tribe that I've been talking about, guys, is what we call the Taos Pueblo. So the Taos Pueblo is an ancient pueblo belonging to American Puebloan people, and it was considered to be the oldest inhabited communities in the United States. And it is approximately 1,000 years old and lies about 1.6 kilometers north of the modern city of Taos, New Mexico. And the Pueblo settled away. Life was not that always started by all groups in the Southwest, because the Apache and the Navajo came around 1500s. They roamed the mountains and the deserts hunting because they want to look for food in the forests and in the deserts. But when there is no food being caught there, so they went to the villages and the farms to look for food. Then, the Pueblos were also known as skilled farmers. Why? Because as we all know, in their place, they have a dry climate. So what they did is they built an irrigation canals in order to grow their crops such as corns, beans, what else? Beans, tobacco, and squash. So the corn was being ground into meal and made into flat cakes and bread. So the corn is their very famous crops that they are producing. So this is the main ingredients of their traditional food also. And the Taos Pueblo was also designated a National Historic Landmark on October 9, 1960, and in 1992 became a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So Taos Pueblo is very important in the United States because they are the one who are known to be the skilled farmers. So they help their members, not only their members but also the locals, to produce goods out from farming, because as we all know that their climate is dry, so they help each other in order to sustain their daily needs. So they also have festival. So aside from not having a good climate, they also have a good festival. So their festival is what we call the Taos Pueblo Powwow. A powwow. So a powwow is a gathering of Indian nations in a common circle of friendship. So they gather into a certain place. So an Indian country is made up of many tribal nations, bands, villages, and pueblos, each with their own traditional beliefs and practices. So they have their different kinds of beliefs and practices. Then the Powwow festival is also a time for sharing with old friends, making new friends, a time for singing and dancing, and also it is a time for trading for what we call craft goods and trading songs. So their goods was being traded into a song, and the song was being traded into a good. So that's their practices during that festival. Then a powwow usually begins with a grand entry of the dancers. All participants dance into the circle, lead into the arena by the tribal elder, who was carrying a staff of eagle feathers. So the eagle feathers is a symbol or a universal symbol and flag of the Indian people throughout the North America. This is where the Pueblos live. They have similar houses, as you can see. Similar in terms of their shape, designs, and the materials being used. So as you can see around, their land is very dry. That's why they need to use an alternative way of farming. So this is their Powwow festival. It is being held on the month of July 12, 13, and 14. So it is a 3 days event in which the Pueblos gather together for a friendship. And it is also a time for sharing with old friends and making new friends. A time for singing and dancing, and also a time for trading. Trading for goods and trading for songs. It is usually begins with the entry of the dancers with the lead of their tribal elder. Let's now move on to the traditional food. So as we all know, the Taos Pueblos were very good in terms of farming, or what we call, they are considered to be the skilled farmers. So what do you think, guys, is their traditional food? So their traditional food is not really just like in other country that they have kind of mga sweet and sour, fish fillet, just like that. But in Taos Pueblo, their traditional food are corn, beans, and squash. But the very main ingredients that they put into their traditional food is the corn. So they dry the corn into flour and made it into paper thin cakes and breads. So their traditional food is the cakes and breads coming from the ground corn. So that's their traditional food. This is their big oven. It is made out of a mud clay. This is how they are going to cook their breads and their cakes. They put it into the big oven so they can put at least 5 breads or cakes in the oven. So that's the finished product after baking it into the big oven. So as you can see, it is very yummy and fluffy. So that's the traditional way of cooking. This is the very sacred place in the Taos Pueblo, in which the Pueblos gather together to pray. This is the San Jeronimo Church. So these are the Pueblos people. They are the one who made their wall. So this is not an ordinary wall, it is an adobe wall in which it is very hard to break because it serves as their protection towards their enemies. So it is built between 1000 and 1450 AD. It was considered to be a 10 feet tall, and it is a room all around the village. So 90% of the Taos Pueblo were baptized as a Roman Catholics. Their church is the San Jeronimo Church, Taos Pueblo, New Mexico. And the official language that they are using is the Tiwa. It is a Tanawan language family spoken, but they also speak in English because lots of tourists visiting there, and they also need to practice that one in order for them to communicate. And then Taos Pueblos is not only famous in terms of their tradition, beliefs, and practices, but they are also in terms of their adobe wall. So adobe wall, it runs around the village, and it was built between 1000 to 1450 AD, 1450 AD, and it is once a 10 feet tall, and it was being built in order to protect the residents from their enemies. So if you want to visit Taos Pueblo, the tours touch the highlights of culture, history, and people, and the tours last from 20 to 30 minutes only, and the tour guide will take you to the significance area of the village, and then you can wear anything that you want, but except the sleeveless. You can cover it up with jacket. So like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and you may consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. Thank you guys for watching.